Um, Good evening, everyone. And I would like to welcome all of us to Latana Ventures. This is the first edition of, this is the first edition, and I really hope that we will leave here very much inspired. So, introducing Latana to us, Latana Ventures is Nigeria's premier source for books, gifts, educational resources, lifestyle inspiration, and lifestyle inspiration. Established in 1996, has evolved from a Christian bookstore into a trusted destination for Bibles, Christian literature, business and leadership books, children's books, educational toys, stationery, journals, fragrances, music, and created gift items. With direct global access to over 100,000 titles and products, Latana serves individuals, schools, and businesses across Nigeria, supplying retailers in 33 states, including Abuja. Our unwavering focus on quality, inspiration, and customer satisfaction has made us a cornerstone for book lovers, educators, family, and gifting enthusiasts nationwide. Today, Latana is more than a bookstore. It is a lifestyle hub where knowledge meets inspiration, and every product is carefully selected to enrich lives, spark creativity, and elevate everyday moments. So the event of today at Latana, that's Candid Conversation introduction now. At Latana, we believe books are more than stories. They are beginning to, they are the beginning of meaningful conversations. After hosting nearly 90 monthly book club events with authors and book lovers, we decided to create a space where these conversations could be more, even be more open, honest, and authentic. We are honored to launch the very first edition of Candid Conversations with Tara Fela-Durotoye. This is just the beginning, and we look forward to many more inspiring discussions. Thank you for being here. We hope you will leave inspired, motivated, and deeply connected. Welcome to Candid Conversations. So at this point as well, I would like to introduce to us the moderator for the day, Anita Natasha Akide. Hope I got it right. Simply Tacha. Tacha is an entrepreneur, media personality, content creator, and two-time Guinness World Record holder. The founder of Tacha Beauty Headquarters or HQ and Tasha Beauty Academy institutions, committed to serving African beauty consumers and empowering the next generation of creative entrepreneurs. With a career built on resilience, reinvention, and influence, and a community of millions across social media, Tasha is known for her authenticity, boldness, and ability to speak meaningful conversations. She serves as the moderator of today's Latana Candid Conversation, bringing her unique perspective on leadership, ambition, personal growth, and impact. Please join me in welcoming Tasha.
Thank you. What? Okay, so there's nothing you need to fix. Hello, everybody.
Hello, Simply Tasha.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. I love the smiles on your faces. I feel like you guys are as excited as I am. Because, House of Tara, like, she's one woman that has inspired me for so many years. And then being here, sitting close, I was like, oh my gosh. But yes, it's really happening. Today is the day. Are we excited to be here?
Yes, we are.
Are we excited to be here? Let me see the energy. Yes. Oh my God. My name is Natacha Akide. I am a serial entrepreneur, an opportunity creator, a content creator, media personality, and a 2 times Guinness World Record holder. And truly an honor to be moderating today's conversation. I mean, when I first saw the team Building Beyond You, it put smiles on my face because I was like, wow, we're about to have a conversation not only about business, but a conversation that would leave us to asking a very simple but profound question. And that question is, if I stopped today, what would continue because I existed? I feel like if you had a one-on-one conversation with Entity, or if you watch any of our videos on YouTube, you leave asking yourself that serious question. So then you know if you're building businesses, you're not building businesses for the now, but you're building businesses that would have structure, system that would still exist long after you're gone. And I want to say I appreciate you. And also, I really wanted to show you guys a video from so many years ago. I'll find it. I don't know where I can find it here on my phone. But, okay, I think I did find it. Okay, so now this is a video of me from 2015 in, should I hold it this way? Okay.
Oh.
What's going on? Okay, I need to lock my screen, I guess.
Yes, so that
Okay,
can
let's
stick.
fix that. Okay. Can
Done?
you guys see it? Okay, yeah. What's that music? Okay. So this is me from 2015 in an uncompleted building, doing makeup. I had no idea that, a couple of years later, I would be seated with one of the pioneers of beauty in Africa. But this is to go ahead to say that never stop believing in yourself and never stop going. Anyways, I do have a couple of questions to ask you that I'm sure, the audience are itching to ask as well. But also, after I ask the questions, if you have any special questions, you can signify and I would call on you to ask one. And funny enough, you guys, I think my cousin is here. Wow, Queen. I can see her face right there in the crowd. I'm like, what? I haven't seen this girl in like 12 years. What's going on? Wow, thank you, Auntie T. You're doing a lot of things. Okay, so I would go ahead and say, ladies and gentlemen, please, may we all rise on our feet as we give Auntie T a warm welcome. I wish I could stand too, but my mic is stuck to my outfit. Thank you so much for coming around, for accepting to be here, because, without you guys, we won't just be talking to ourselves. We need you guys to be here. So, Auntie T,
Yes.
Mrs. Tara Fela, please, can you help us understand what building beyond you truly means?
Thank you very much, Tasha. I was saying to her earlier on that I met my match. So I met her maybe a few months ago. And one of the things I find very fascinating is this is someone who loves to build and nurture relationships. Now, people around her age generally are not like that, based on my experience. And that is how I am. So I was a bit taken aback that, I'm the only one that does all these things. Or at least I thought so until I met Tasha. Someone who consistently checks in, checks on you, constantly asking, how can I support? How can I be of help? How can I be part of what you're doing? That is something that I would often do. Especially all my aunties, I always want to ask, how can I support? How can I be of help? So to now find someone who's doing the same, I was like, oh, that's unusual. So thank you, Tasha, for always making me know that every week you think about me. But you must send a message at least once a week. Yes. So please let's give a round of applause for that. I want to encourage, because the world is not as magnetic, as interesting without relationships, right? And sometimes many of us have had relationships where you felt betrayed, burnt out, and oftentimes you withdraw because of that reason. But every time you withdraw, what you do is that you are not contributing to ensuring that the world goes round and you are not also receiving. So you shut down because you are afraid, but unfortunately what you do is deprive yourself of all the joys. So you can imagine if maybe 5 years ago somebody had hurt me and then I now met her, and because of that reason I kind of shut down, right? I won't be enjoying what I'm enjoying today, which is her voice. How many followers do you have on Instagram?
3.6 million followers.
I was even saying 1 point something million, right? 3 point something million followers, right? The access to her audience would not have been possible if I shut down I don't talk to young people because they're very disrespectful, or they don't know their mates. They don't, all those sort of things. It's not because I haven't had experiences with younger people who behave badly, but that didn't mean that I would, every time I get the chance, shut the door from receiving from them as well. So I think that's my own way of also encouraging someone in the audience who has felt, in a sense, maybe betrayed by people in the past, or felt let down by people in the past, and therefore shut themselves away from experiencing more. I think we should just drop it today and say, for the sake of Tara, you know what? Let's try again. Let's go and try again. You can tell your neighbor, I'll try again.
I'll try again.
All right. So thank you, and I'd also like to thank the Morgans. I have known Latana Ventures as one of the foremost bookstores in Nigeria from when I was very much younger. And I was saying earlier on about how I bought my first Amplified Bible from here at Latana when it was primarily a Christian bookstore. And then it's interesting how some of the staff here still remember when I used to bring my children to Latana to buy books. So I have very fond memories of Latana being a part of my journey from a personal development standpoint, for my Christian walk with God, buying study Bibles from here as well. So to now eventually, and even as a makeup artist, because they used to sell beauty books, some of the beauty books from around the world, to now sit here and be an author, and it's being featured here in Latana, I think it's a full circle moment for me as well. So thanking them and cheering them as well, rooting for them, for sticking with it all these years, right? I think Latana is about 30 years.
Oh, wow.
Yes, 30 years, right? So thank you, Auntie Yinka, and Pastor Remy as well. Thank you very, very much for the opportunity to be here.
One of those businesses that's built systems and
correct.
structure. 30 years.
Yes. So super excited. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
all
Latan.
Right.
Latana.
Yes, and I think that quite a number of people here who are going to be here for the very first time who haven't been. And I'm hoping that you guys will now know where Latana is, and hopefully in the future, always when you think about a new book that you want to buy, you think about Latana as well. And you can also go on their website as well to order. And they have a very active social media platform, a strong WhatsApp support system. So if you need a book, you can send a text on WhatsApp and they can immediately respond to you and deliver the book depending on where you are across the country. I think the guys said earlier on they have more than 100,000 books.
Outlets.
Titles, right?
Okay.
Which is huge over this expanse of years. So great work, and thank you as well for giving us the opportunity to be here today. So when I think about building beyond you, what I think about is legacy, the short form of saying just legacy, thinking about what will the world be like after I have left because I came. Whether it's in terms of you as an entrepreneur, but you as a person, because I often say that everyone is like, our life is like a house that has different rooms in it, and that each room in our life is as important as the next room. So one room could be the room that houses your faith. One room could be the room that houses your career. One room could be the room that houses your relationship, right? Maybe your spousal relationship, your family life. One room may be the room that houses your finances, right? But one room may be the room that houses your physical health, your fitness, your leisure, the things that you do for fun. But each one of those rooms in that house are as important as every other room. And that oftentimes as people, there's a tendency for us to focus on one, put all our attention on one, and at the detriment of others. And that's why sometimes we don't feel fully satisfied and feel like our lives have been fully lived, because you are stinking rich, but you have no ways of expressing, you have no hobbies, right? There's nothing that you do for fun other than work. In other cases, you have a lot of money, but you don't have friends.
So if you have a situation where there's a crisis, there is no one who's checking in. You hear about people who die and nobody knew that they had died after weeks. And then the wonder is, how is that even possible? Because there's no one checking on them every day. There's no one they've been interacting with consistently, because maybe they were building the career room, but they're not building the relationship room, right? In other cases, sometimes you're building a business, but you're not building the relationship with your spouse, right? Or you're building a relationship with your children, but not building a relationship with your spouse. These rooms are all important, and none of those rooms should be left to become dilapidated, right? Let's not get to a point where one room is not being maintained, right? You know how we have our rooms in our houses, and there's one particular room that nobody enters, right? After a while, it becomes stale. It has a smell, and this is how I want all of us to see life. And I, of course, as I've grown older, I've come to understand the importance of all the room. So even if I'm writing about building beyond you as a concept, as a business concept, I'm also saying, let's build so that no matter who we touch, no matter who experiences us, whether it's our children who experience us, whether it's our spouse, if we're not here tomorrow, it's because we were here that they became better for it. And so when I think of building beyond you, I'm thinking about legacy, I'm thinking about long term, I'm thinking not just for today, but for tomorrow, for 10 years, for 100 years from now.
Absolutely. That was great and awesome. There's so many rooms, so as much as you're carrying the room of your business, try as much as possible to strike a balance with other rooms of your life. Fitness, friendship, and all of that. Auntie T, where have you been all my life?
I'm here now.
Okay, so, we're correcting some things. Okay, so one other question I'm going to ask, and this is for the parents in the house, is how do we raise children who appreciate privilege without being entitled, especially when they come from money?
That's very powerful. I think that's a very important question, because we're already rich, right? We're already wealthy people.
By God's grace.
I think it's important. It's really from a value standpoint. And when I say value standpoint, it's values are the set of belief systems that we have personally as humans that we live by. So if you are someone who comes from privilege, meaning you are maybe a wealthy man, wealthy woman, and you have children, you have to ask yourself, what are the values that we stand on as a family, husband and wife? And in some other cases, you may be a single mother, for example, or even a single dad, but you have to ask yourself, what are the values? What are the things that are critical to how I behave or how I see the world? It could be, for example, in my family, for example, one of our strongest values is that it's legacy. For us, we are particular about, number one, impact. That's one of our values. So what it means is that when we're discussing with our children, it's first of all what we live that we see, right? I often say that children don't learn from what you say as much as they learn from what you do. It was a quote that I liked, but now that my children are older, I actually see that. I'll tell a story about once we traveled overseas, and my children were in a primarily Oyinbo church, and I went to pick them up from the church. And after the service, I went to look for them. When I arrived there, it was prayer time. And I noticed that my 3 sons were kneeling to pray. They had their 2 knees on the, which was unusual for everyone in the room because they were the only ones doing it. So I now asked myself, why are my children kneeling to pray? That's how I pray. They're used to it. So it's not because I said to them, kneel down to pray. No. My son said, he was complaining, one of them, he was in university at the time, and he was complaining, said, Mom, I had to write a letter to the, director of housing that I can't stay in this room. I said, oh, why? I said, you have been, he said, oh, Mom, can you imagine? People will eat pizza, then leave the pizza box in the bin overnight and not take it out. And I was like, huh? So it's the reason why you cannot stay in the same room, because they are all dirty. So I thought, interesting, because I remember you people. You people in this, my house, that I will make sure that you people have gone to bed. I'll make sure that when you people have slept, is when I come to your room to wake you up to go and wash plates at 3 a.m. I remember I used to do all those things. I cannot believe that you are now the one snubbing people. You can't even stay because. Then the first one said to me, I went to my friend's house. When you go to a bachelor's house, generally there is a way their houses are. I said, hey, how are their houses? They said, well, you kind of notice like, oh, maybe a door handle is broken, hasn't been fixed. The toilet seat is broken, hasn't been fixed. And I'm just not used to that. Oh, because they called my husband Julius Berger. And the reason why they call my husband Julius Berger, so my neighbors are like, you people are always having one thing being fixed in your house all the time. So clearly, it's not because we said when you get to your apartment, you must make sure that when things spoil, you go and fix it. We haven't gotten there for that training because they're just like young adults. So I think you want to teach your children, yes, you're privileged, but you want to teach them values like, for example, kindness. Like to know that this opportunity that you have it simply because you are just something that God just gave you. Doesn't mean that you're better than anyone else. It's also the little things around when you have domestic staff, right? When you get into the culture of letting the children know that the domestic staff that work in this house don't work for you. They don't work for you. They work for me. This was the things I said to them. Just about 2 months ago, I had one nanny who worked with us for about 16 years. Now, when it was 16 years, I was done. Like I didn't want to see her one more day. Why? Because she was the one who was the nanny when the children were growing, right? And oftentimes, I know I had to adjust many things because I wanted to focus on only one thing, which is she wasn't great. She had all these things that she used to do that got on my nerves. But the one thing that was fundamental was that she loved my children. And so I focused on that. So when the children left, I had no more energy. She left. One of the things that she used to do that used to drive me nuts, she was the first daughter in her family. So it meant that all her siblings were always in my house. So there are times I can just be in my house, somebody will just walking past and just say, good evening, and just walk past. And I'm like, where are you going to? Then they will ask me, is Gift not at home? Then I will say she's at home. Then they go. I overlooked it. When she was getting married, I came back from Ghana in the morning. I arrived very early in the morning. I got to my front of my house, slippers. You know how those when you go to select church and you see slippers and shoes outside, that's how my front of my house was. Because her siblings and her family members had come. And they were now in my kitchen cooking and preparing. I went and I saw them. I just faced my front. And I went upstairs. Why? Because I prioritized what I needed to prioritize. The love for the children, the commitment she had for the children's well-being. Because I was traveling. My husband was also traveling. Anyway, recently, 2 months ago or so, she rings me and says she wants to come and visit me. She came, she was crying, she was on her knees, so grateful. I said, what happened? I have to show you something. I have to show you something. She opens her phone, and it was a chat between my son and her. And in the text, he said, since I got to England, I started started this side business, and this is the first money I'm making from the side business, and I want to send some to you. And then she wrote, I just wanted to thank you for your kindness, for teaching us respect. She listed all the things that she shared. And to thank Mom for keeping you all those years. And I look back and I'm thinking to myself, I didn't tell him to send her money. But he knows that when you go and do a job, you share the money. This is the culture that you have seen. So now you are able to apply it on your own. It's still the same application when you did your job, this small job that you did the other day in summer school and you got 15K and they said send to grandma and send to Kiniko and he did it then. Now he's grown up. I probably would not have put Gift's name on the list, right? I would have said Auntie Bike, Uncle Bade, that's your daddy's brother, sister, grandma. These are the people, but I would not have thought about Gift. And then the message before that, she's a March baby. So he had sent a message to her on the 30th of March. To say, Auntie Gift, are you still awake? Because it's still 30th where I am. Pick up, I want to sing happy birthday to you. What did he see? What did he experience? He experienced kindness as a value for us. He experienced that we said, this person is important to us in this house. And so our children will only learn no matter what it is, if you consider yourself privileged and you now think because of that reason you treat people poorly, that's exactly what your children are going to be. Yeah.
Wow. So our children see us and they mirror us. So even when you think they're not looking, they're definitely looking and they're taking notes. So if you want kind children, you better start being kind.
I agree.
Okay. Auntie T,
Yes.
you've created opportunities for thousands of women. Now, do you believe creating opportunities is one of the highest forms of leadership, and why?
Thank you. Great question. I totally agree. Creating opportunities for others is definitely one of the highest forms of leadership. And the question people often ask me is that where did that theology come from? Where did that mindset come from? And as a Christian, one of the things that we've been taught, part of the principles of our Christian walk, is that we're blessed so that we are blessed so that we can be a blessing to others. And so it became very imperative that no matter what it was I was doing, I was always giving people opportunity, as little as the smallest things, right? And it became a culture for us, even as a family. That's my husband and I. Like I was just saying earlier on about how, we travel in, sometimes I go to a place and I'm at the airport and somebody stops me and shares with me how my husband came to their church 1,000 years ago, or he came to their university 1,000,000 years ago, and the impact. One of my mentees sent me a voice note, and in the voice note, she asks a lady who has a swimming school, and she says, "Oh, how did you come up with this idea of a swimming school?" Because she's a swimming coach to her daughter. And the lady said to her, many years ago when I was in University of Ife, there was a lady who came to our school to talk about entrepreneurship. And when she was done, my sister and I decided that no matter what, we're going to start a business. And the lady's name is Tara Fela-Durotoye. I don't know if you know her of House of Tara. Now, she's talking to someone who's my mentee in Abuja. And she's saying to me, I'm sure you don't know this person. There's a random person off the street that I'm contacting, and I just had a conversation with her, and this is what she shared with me. So impacting is sweet, especially when you begin to see the fruits of it, of your labor. And that's why it's important that we document our stories. We document because sometimes we may not be able to reach people, go on campus. Last week I was at Wigwe University and the University of Port Harcourt and River State University students. And I was walking away from there, woke up the next morning feeling completely full. And the fullness that I was feeling was simply because I gave, right? And generosity is so powerful that the more you give, the more you also receive.
The more you give, the more you receive. The more you receive. Auntie T, I hope you guys are putting your questions down. I see a lot of people jotting things down. It'll be your turn very soon. Auntie T, many parents carry a silent fear that while they're building successful businesses, they might unintentionally miss out on building their children. How have you done it over the years? Striking a balance between work and family?
Thank you. It is a real question, a real concern. And I also, I think I wasn't afraid that I could lose them, but I think I was afraid that maybe they would not work in my faith. I think that's the one I was most concerned about. One of the things that I did, I was very intentional about getting my children to be part of my business, part of my day-to-day work. I was very intentional about getting my husband to be involved in what it was I was doing. Sometimes we talk about balance, right? Where it's almost like you have to take your hands off this to be able to touch this. In my case, what I did was make them all part of it. So I don't know how many people were at my Building Beyond You conference last year, where at some point the live stream TV screen came on, and the MC immediately saw one of my son's names on the screen as one of the online participants. I didn't tell them to join the conference, but they felt like they needed to be a part of it because through the process of planning, I had carried them along from my fears around, do I think I still have enough influence to be able to gather people together in a room, I shared that concern. And one of them said to me, Mom, I can't believe you said that, and then responded. Now, by the time you're organizing the conference, the person who was advising you and motivating you has to actually see how it turned out, right? So even though he's not in Nigeria, he had to find a way to get the link, then log on to the link, then send it to his brothers. And and they were in, I think the time of the day, the one that was in the US was around 3 a.m. And he was wearing his suit with his pocket square, like as if he was going for an interview, right? And the smile on the face, and because the cameras just picked him up. It wasn't like it was planned, but the way he sat, you could see someone who wanted to experience every moment of that program. But the reason why was because he was part of it. He was part of the first sponsor that gave a first check, right? Or the sponsors that said no, right? And that I shared. And so, Mom, how was this week? And I'm like, oh, well, this sponsor said they were going to do it. And then next week they said they were not doing it anymore. Or we don't have many men signing up. It's only women that are signing up. Wow, why do you think men are not signing up? Well, I think I have a brand that is very attached to women, so they heard all these things. So they wanted to see the numbers. Well, did men show up? Did they finally come? How many came? So I think that is so powerful because it became a culture for me to carry them along, right? And I think no matter how young and small the children are, try. When they were little, I would bring them. I had the chance. I was running my own business. So I picked them up from school, and they would do their homework under the table in my office. And it's interesting how some people who still work in the company remember them as little children. The memories of them is this person now, he has a deep voice, now he has a beard, now his chest is big. It's like, I know, I remember you when your mom used to bring you here. But I involved them. I involved them a lot. At some point, they even thought I wasn't working because I was so involved. There's a very famous story about how one child in class, mom doesn't come for any of the activities. So they were yapping the child. Your mommy doesn't come for anything, da, da, da. And the girl now says, because my mom is famous. That's why she doesn't come for all these things. So clearly, which is why I have the time to be coming to do school runs. And if I tell you who the person is, you guys will all know who the person is. That time, she wasn't even as famous as I was, right? The lady's not a real celebrity, but at the time she wasn't. But this was the perception. And I love the daughter who was like, you guys cannot come and drag me. I tell you what I tell you. My mother is famous, that's why she does not come for school runs. I think involving our children, being a part of what it is that you're doing so that they can hear, automatically they feel tied to it. I've seen people whose children have taken over businesses before, and if you ask them, most of the time it's because the children have been a part of the process, and they just easier for them to be that way inclined.
Kimso, my daughter, can you do makeup? Kimberly, don't embarrass me. Can you do makeup, Kimso? I try. I mean, she's only 8, so there's time for improvement and stuff. Okay, so I want to get to the part that I feel like a lot of people are so interested in, particularly myself. But I'm roping you guys in as well. So we want to know, before House of Tara became one of Africa's most respected beauty brands, who were you?
Tough.
Okay, my niece is doing this.
Clock it.
Who was I before House of Tara? I was a young, deeply spiritual, ambitious young girl. Deeply ambitious because I had big dreams of being a very famous lawyer. I wanted to work in Rotimi Williams & Co., the law firm. I wanted to be able to speak Spanish and French and travel around the world. Deeply, deeply successful. But I also wanted to have a very strong relationship with God. It was my focus. I was at Funke Buckner's 50th birthday on Friday. They had a praise party for her, the famous event planner. And when my husband and I were walking out, a lady tapped my husband and said, I want to tell you something about this lady that you married. And I was wondering, that took me off guard. I looked at her face, I couldn't recognize her, but she's older now. And she said, well, your wife was my junior by 1 year in Nigerian Navy Secondary School. But I've been looking for her for years. And I turned 50 last year. and I shared a story about her when I was giving my tributes at my birthday. And this was what I shared, was that I was having demonic attacks as a teenager in secondary school. And even though I was her senior, but I was in the same house with her, one night she came to me and asked me that this is what's happening. She observed. And I shared with her I didn't know why I was having these dreams, but I was consistently. One night, she said she just woke up and she saw me laying hands and praying for her. As I prayed for her, she said that was the last time she had those nightmares. Wow. But she also knows that it also was a turning point for her, because she was looking at this, what she called a small girl, who had such spiritual authority, even though she was younger than her. And she was inspired by that. And she talked about how that also shaped her spiritual walk with God. They used to call me SU at that time, so I'm sure many of them are like, how did she now move from SU to becoming a makeup artist and then having a beauty business? And so this was my identity. I walked away from that day asking myself that, and she wasn't the only one, because that was one of those big parties where there's somebody who attracts everybody that you haven't seen in years. You go to a party and there's one person who knows has been in touch with everybody, right? So there were people who came to me and said, I remember you from Navy. Even the celebrant said, those were our pastors. They were the ones leading people to Christ and checking the people that were going for nightclub and reporting them to school authority and things like that. But I look back at that time and say to myself, I wonder what my life would have been if I had walked in that path completely, right? Maybe I would have been a Geo, right? And all that. So that's the person that I was before House of Tara. But I'm still ambitious, Abby.
Yes, still very much
but
ambitious.
Don't worry, I'm also deeply spiritual. It's okay.
Okay. What would you say building House of Tara has cost you personally?
So there was a period where, for those who have read the book, there's a part where I talk about how the products were counterfeited. In China. And when I came back to Nigeria, I had to fight the counterfeiters because the government didn't have the systems to fight counterfeiters for any brand. And it didn't matter that I was a pioneering brand. And I remember going to Trade Fair. And Trade Fair is like the largest cosmetics market in the whole of the West African region. And obviously, when the Chinese people were talking to me, I knew that majority of the counterfeiting was coming out of Trade Fair. So I've gone to Trade Fair to go and do my own investigation. And I was just walking on the road, and somebody just walks up to me and says, "Madam, listen, we're not selling your product here. It's not your product that is here. It is not your product. And if you come here another time again, anything your eyes see, you go see more." And it was a threat, right? So I walked into a store. There was an older woman who's been a distributor of cosmetics for many, many years. So I shared with her what I had experienced. She now said, as an old woman, she said to me, "I agree with him, don't put your life at risk." I said, She said, yes. Then she asked me, "Do you know Ampipor?" So Ampipor was a fragrance brand that, you put in the wall. I don't know how many people do you still see that brand? Exactly. So apparently the man had brought this product in, and now they were now counterfeiting, and he was like, "I'm going to fight with you people." And one day he was in Trade Fair and they just shot his legs. And so the story goes that, he became, and of course, when you now build a business that was really all about him, the minute he couldn't actively engage because he was in hospital for a very long time, by the sharing those stories with me, was a way of making me afraid, right? Was I afraid? Not quite. What I was afraid of was actually the investment that I made in building a brand, losing it. Because I started in my 20s, right? And in this time, I was now in my 40s. Early 40s or maybe end of my 30s. And I remember that I had spent all my youthfulness building a recognizable brand. There was an investment that made it possible for people to say Tara and you think of makeup, right? That you will think of makeup and think it's actually a profession, right? Whereas many years before that, these were the things that I did. This was the investment I made, that I started a makeup school, and from the makeup school, people could actually train to become makeup artists, right? And when you go to one place, you find somebody who's a makeup artist because they were trained by somebody who was trained at House of Tara, right? We built the first distribution model for door to door. So I looked at all those things. The minute people don't trust that name any longer, you lose it. And this was the thing that I was afraid of, right? Now, I decided I was going to fight. I was not going to allow the threat. The challenge with fighting counterfeiters is as a one man, when you don't have government and you are not a conglomerate, is that it costs you something. And when I look back at that time, it was a moment where all my rooms were on suspension. Everything was about counterfeiting. That was my focus. What did it cost me? It cost me a season where, if you ask me what happened other than that, I don't remember. I can't say, because I was absent. I was here, but I wasn't here. I suffered significant burnout from the process. And just a few years before, if the largest French company had come to buy House of Tara, wanted to buy a controlling stake in the business, I didn't sell. Then I started regretting it, because if I had sold, then it meant that I would have had the force of that organization fighting for me. I sat down in my office one day. I got a call from the American embassy that somebody wants to come and see me. And the woman comes, her hair's all white, elderly African-American woman. She sits across the table from me. She's asking me questions about business. But at the end, as she walks away, I immediately got an inkling that she had come to ask me questions around what I did when my products were counterfeited. Because the government of America needed information, because American brands were coming to Nigeria. And the question was, if this indigenous brand had this problem, what did she do? Now, she didn't come straight up to say that was what it was. She was old enough, mature enough to be able to ask me questions about my children, this and that and the other, and at the end of the day, take information away from me. This is what governments do. Governments stand for brands, stand for brands that have built their name, but built the country's name as a result. And that's what House of Tara did. A high commissioner from Botswana rang my husband to say, people are coming to Nigeria. They are coming to apply for visas to come to Nigeria. When they asked the girls, why are you coming to Nigeria? They are coming to Nigeria to House of Tara Makeup School. And he was like, wow, like in Botswana, this is what I did for the industry, right? So this is what government should have done. So when I look back at that period, I see the loss of my time that I put down, a season that I don't recall because I was, in a sense, suspended from myself because I was fighting. And I have the scars of that fight. And I look back at that time with a little bit of regret, and maybe not a little bit a lot of regret, because I also see mistakes and decisions that I took in that period that I would have done things differently if I was more aware. And this is the challenge of being burnt out, is that you don't have enough clarity and presence of mind to make decisions based on the right matrix. I was looking outward. I was looking and trying to fix it, and I lost quite a bit in that process. So if I look back, that's one area of my business life that I still cringe when I think about it. Yeah.
And we're so happy you came out from it beautifully, honestly. We don't look like what we've been through. Okay, Auntie T, if you were to look back on your journey over the years, what is one thing you think you would do differently?
What is one thing I would do differently? In which area?
I would say the area of business.
For business, what would I do differently? I think that I would have started my journey of building structure much earlier. Much earlier. There were many years, maybe the first 10 years, where I was just winging it, right? That I feel like if I had been more structured, I would have expanded the business faster and been more impactful. I went to Ibadan for a funeral, and as we drove into the compound of the church where the service was, there was a young lady who had her customer, a makeup artist, who was attending to people in the grounds of the church. And I looked at her and I was moved because I thought to myself, this is a seed that I created. If anybody had told me 27 years after that I could actually just randomly walk into a church ground and a makeup artist will have actually created a job for herself by standing here and asking people, do you want your gaily tied? Do you want to do makeup? And people will be like, yes, I want. And in some cases, people already know she's going to be there. So they come with that intention. I look back at that. If I knew the scale of the impact, I would have taken the business more seriously. I would not have handled it with like, oh, well, it's this small business I'm doing. No, I would have seen lives from the get-go. And because I see lives from the get-go and the impact that I could have, I would have been more detailed in the foundation that I was building because I knew this was going to be enormous. Yeah.
That's awesome. Great. Okay, one more question before, I ask the audience to ask theirs. So I want to know, if House of Tara was still in existence 100 years from now, what would you hope people will say is what stood out?
It's the business that made me a billionaire.
A billionaire in dollars or
No, whatever the currency for that time is. For sure, number one. But number two, I think second primary thing is that it's a business that impacted lives. And not just lives, there will be numbers. And the numbers will be progressive. It will be like, the first 20 years was documented that this business helped 10,000 small businesses become 100,000 revenue businesses. And then in their 20th year, they were able to, and in their 50th year, and in their 60th year, and when the company was 100 years, they were able to celebrate 10 million lives or 100 million lives that were impacted. For me, that will be my legacy.
Amen. How many of you here used House of Tara products in any point of your life? How many, please? Don't be shy. Let's see the hands. Because this is me proudly using my House of Tara eyeshadow palettes. You can see from 2015. Okay, all right. So this is the point where I get to hear from our audience. Okay, so if you have any questions, you may want to. Okay, so I have one. I have two. Should I pass the mic? Oh, no, I can't move because of what I have. Okay. So please introduce yourself, and I think we should and then shoot.
Okay. Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you so much. This was awesome, and I'm very much looking forward to reading the book. My name is Folake Owodunni. I run a business providing emergency medical services. And I mean, it's been an interesting journey. We're just 5 years in. So, when I hear...
It's not just 5 years. This kind of business is not a joke. Please let's give her a round of applause.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
And well done. Well done.
Thank you. So when I hear, how long it's been and, the fact that you said, you feel like you were winging it for the first 10 years, I'm like, okay. But my question is actually about the first thing that you said before, getting into the conversation proper, which was around, how Natacha has, done such a great job of keeping in touch and building that relationship. And I think it's something that I've been very curious about, but I don't know, it just doesn't come naturally for me. So I'm curious, how do you set up systems or just, create structures that allow you to do that? I mean, it sounds like it comes pretty naturally to you, but for someone who maybe it doesn't come naturally, what would you recommend in terms of building relationships and just, really...
Yeah. Thank you. It's a learned skill that everyone should have. You know how AI is now the thing that we have to all learn? right? Technology does not come to us naturally, and we have to learn it, because if we don't learn it, then we're not yet ready. It's the same way with building relationships, because that's how the world is going to go around, right? So yes, you may say, well, maybe it comes naturally to me, but what you see is also structure. Is that, for example, I can share a few tips here. For example, I have my Father's Day list. My Father's Day list means that I have a broadcast on my WhatsApp of all the men who I want to wish Happy Father's Day to. And because men don't generally get those messages, it's very meaningful. When they respond, you can tell that they're grateful, and many of them are much older men that people maybe don't even remember. Okay, that's one. Number two, when I meet people, I record their names based on their countries. So if I meet you in Kenya, then I will put your name, Kemi Adetiba, Kenya. And the reason why is because if there's a crisis in Kenya, then I send a broadcast list to everyone whose name ends with Kenya to say, I hope you're well. And I see that in the news that there was this crisis. Yesterday, there was a game between Jordan and Argentina. And I have a friend who's Jordanian, and I have a friend who's Argentinian. And then I sent a message to both of them, right, to say, well, because I have two friends from, I don't even know which country I'm going to support today. We haven't spoken in like 6 months, but that was a moment where we could crack up, right? I'm also big around setting goals. So at the beginning of the year, I'd ask myself, from my relationship standpoint, what do I want my relationship to be like with my mentor? What do I want to do for my mentors this year? Okay? What do I want to do for my mentees this year? What do I want to do with my peers? That is my friend. I see you swallowing off something. Okay, so my mentor, for example, has a huge conference she organizes every year. 1 year for her, it was she wanted to expand outside of Nigerians being the primary participants. I have all this Kenya, Tanzania, because I have managed those relationships. So I committed to actively bring in people from other African countries as a goal. Now, that can be a big goal for us. Not everybody has those sort of resources, but it could be anything. It could be that you commit to, for example, helping them share flyers, right? Getting people to sign up for something that they are doing. Your mentor is writing a book. How about you buying and then making sure that 100 of your friends, 50 of your friends in your church actually buy the book or attend something that they are doing? I also think about when I meet people at conferences, I reach out to them 24 hours, not more than 24 hours after we meet, and I must make sure we take a selfie. That way, if you respond to me maybe 5 years' time, even though I may have forgotten, the minute I see the picture, then I remember where I met you, how we connected. But also, when you genuinely are curious about people, generally, when you're having conversations with them and you're talking with them, you would find that you have moments where that can be reference points tomorrow. Okay, so people say, oh, I can't really do small talk, right? But guess what? I've had a conversation with you today. I picked up that your mom was the one who bought the book for you. I picked up that you are in medical services. I picked up that your hair is locked, had micro locks. It means that tomorrow, if we exchange numbers and I see a nice micro locks, I can send a picture to you of the microlock saying, this reminds me of your hair. So we have kept in touch. There are other times it can be a conversation that we had about politics and in reference to something that happened between the Ijos and the Shekiris, for example. And then there's something on Arise TV where a lawyer is talking about the same conversation that we had. That can become a reference point as well. So these are little hacks here and there, people's birthdays. I'm very big on not trying to remember. So in some cases, WhatsApp, iPhone helps you do that, where you have all these places where you can actually put people's names with their birthdays. It means that I know, or in some cases on my phone, I think about Pastor Bolaji Dowu, for example, who, when my book came out, he was the first pastor, right, who committed to getting me to do book signing in his church. And I attended 3 services. In one service, he actually bought books for half of the people who ordered. Let me tell you one of the reasons why he did it. And that's not the church I attend. He said to me, it is because I'm one of the people who cares a lot about him. Guess why he thinks I care about him? Because I'm in touch. If it's his birthday, I know his birthday is 18th of March. I will send him a message every year. This year I was even too early because somehow in my system it says it was 16th. So he said it's not today, and I'm still waiting for the day, right? On the 18th. If there's a crisis online that has to do with his church, if they do something about his church, there was a time where it was that they were giving free buses for people to attend harvesters. I thought it was brilliant. I didn't keep the information to myself that I thought it was brilliant. I reached out and I said, I love this idea because you are now sending buses out. The only thing though, and I said to him, is if you are picking up non-members, remember that also members are the ones who are tithing. So please consider them. He said, hey, thank you for sharing that information. So sometimes it can be easier for other people, but it's a skill that you can learn. I hope that we were able to pick up some things that we can apply.
Very much, TFG, and nice meeting you in person. I think I've been a lover of the family for so many years now. I think my first interaction with the family was Fela-Durotoye. He came to, then it was, Intercontinental Bank, one of these very old banks. So he came, we had the session with him. It was really, really impactful. So, that has made that connection. My question, okay, maybe I have to introduce myself first.
Yes.
My name is Mayowe Gunjobi. I'm a correspondent banker. Okay. I've been in banking now for like 21 years.
Fantastic.
So my question would actually be around parenting, right? So when I see you, I see the boys, they've turned out, successfully well. Very good job you've done.
Thank you.
So I just want to find out. So it looks like, the journey were all smooth and sailing all through. Wow. So I want to find out, were there moments where you felt, you were not getting it right in terms of parenting, in terms of family, or times where you had really, the business was taking so much from you and it was affecting the family from the parenting, and how did you recalibrate and what you did, without sacrificing your growth? I'm a career person, by the way. Maybe one of these days I'll become a business person. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can I be honest? Yeah, there was never a time I felt that my business was taking too much away and it was distracting me from my family. The only thing that my friendships, yes, my relationship with God probably, but not my children. My mom says in my last life I didn't have kids. So when I came back, I'm like, yeah, God gave me children. These ones. She has to tell me, look, I have my own children. Stop behaving as if I don't have children. Right? So I was very determined about that. I was determined about for different reasons. So it wasn't one of those things. However, I still struggled with, will they turn out well? And I'll tell you that it was only maybe about 5 years ago or 6 years ago, I took my last son to lunch. And he asked me, he said, Mommy, is there anything that you're not very confident about? And I said, yes. He said, what is it? I said, because, my children think I'm very confident. I said, parenting. He said, huh? The look on his face looked like as if, are you joking? Then he said, why? I said, well, I'm a successful businesswoman. I know. I'm a good wife. Like, I can beat my chest 500% that if my husband comes back to this world again, he'll be married. He'll be looking for me in heaven. He said, but with you guys, he said, no. Emphatic. The way he even said it was, this is my last one, with his hands, his eyes. He said, you have done a fantastic job. He said, Mom, I think you need to give yourself a pat on the back. And he said, you guys have taught us everything. If we don't do it, it's not because we're not taught. Whew. So that was one moment where my heart. I went to visit my number 2 in university on his campus, and he was working in this center, like a employment or whatever center. When I arrived, the Unyubo women who were there, they were coming out of their office when they heard Demilade's mom, and he was like, oh my God, he's my son. I've taken him from you. He's my son. I'm taking him from real embossing, like white, where you will feel like they should be more measured. They were so. Then they told, one of them said to me, in short, I had to start recording, right? You've done an excellent job with this boy. He is one of the most outstanding students I've ever worked with. This is overseas, not in Nigeria. So that was another moment for me. Another moment that I had was when my mom said to me that there's one who's in England. She said to me, the way Mobulurin takes care of me, it's not because I tell him. He will go to his grandmother's house, check her power, check her gas, check this, check all these things, and make sure that he has sorted everything out. And recently, she was rude to him. She just was shouting, one of those doing that Nigerian grandmother behavior. And he didn't tell me. He didn't tell his parents. When his grandmother finished shouting, it was in public. They were in the supermarket and she just started yelling about something. And so when he got back to the house, he was about to leave. He said, Grandma, I want to talk to you. He said, yes. He said, you see that thing you did in the supermarket? You shouldn't do it again. He said, huh? You shouldn't do it again. You know why you shouldn't do it? You shouldn't speak to people like that. Not me, not anybody. So my mother called me. Something happened to me today. I said, tell me what happened to you. He said, hey, pikin when I carry for Ireland, when I bath, when I scrubbing body. I said, what happened to this pikin? She couldn't talk. He said, I don't know whether I'm ashamed, they make me not talk. I don't know whether I'm. She went on, and eventually she now said, you train your pikin, no. You train her more. I said, why? He said, when he even wanted to correct me, the way he took his time, he did not get annoyed. I did not even know he was annoyed. He was about to leave. He now said, Grandma, let's have a conversation. They are not perfect children. And by the way, my firstborn was the child who the teacher will phone me and say, this boy, why does he like the children that are badly behaved in the class? I said, I don't know. After a while, after the years went by, I realized he's like me, he's an empath. So the people who people don't like, the children who get punished the most, are the ones he feels like he's like a Voltron. That's how I am. But I did not remember at the time. My last born, completely restless. If he's your teacher, if he's in your class, you must know that he was in your class. He's the child that after a while, I decided that I'm not going to allow teachers to intimidate me. So when I'm coming for PTA, before you talk, I started talking. I'll say, I'm sure that Morola is giving you a good time. The child will be like, because they are genuinely good kids, but this one is so restless. He likes talking, he likes playing. He has this sweat around his nose. Maybe you just see that sweat around his nose and play. He's a child that comes out from school. When he comes back, you can't see him more because as he walks into the house, he's so tired. He just, any room he sees. Yes, you start looking for him all over the place. He doesn't lace his shoes. I did not know he had problems with lacing. So when your teacher will call me, do you think, is there a problem? I say, I don't know whether there's a problem. After a while, I now found out there was Velcro shoe. Those ones you just snap. That's what saved me. My second child, he does not like problem. If the first, teachers are calling his parents because of the first, calling parents because of the third, please, let me free my parents. So he's the only child that he cannot be in any class and there's no teacher that can call you about this, my number 2. Because he will not get into any trouble till tomorrow. If everybody's quarreling now and you ask him, he said, I don't know. I have no contribution. Because he's a man of peace. He does not want stress. And he wants to be the perfect child. So that you can never have any reason to reference him in any discussion whatsoever. But you see that my last born, he shook us. We knew. When you ask him, how was school? Did you get into trouble today in school? You ask him, did you get into trouble today in school? He'll be like, Because he's actually thinking genuinely. Because he does not remember what I was yesterday, what I studied, what I was there. He now say, no, I didn't go to the vice principal's office. The problem was not that serious. So these are the things that made me worry, okay? And I used to beat. I was the parent that beats, right? So I used to beat quite a bit. And Gift will be upset. Remember Gift now, she'll be upset. The reason why she'll be upset is because she says that I see other children. I say, my boys are angels. My boys are angels. Shut up your mouth here. Don't tell me that your boys are angels. I'm comparing them to how I was, not how the other children you are comparing them to. So stop it. When they see me in school, because my children prostrate, so they prostrate for her. So when she goes and picks them, they come out of class and they prostrate. The other nannies are thinking, where are these children from? So to her, they are perfect children. You cannot tell her anything. Oh, these are boys. If you just put their picture on my WhatsApp now, she has started sending hearts. If I just say, good morning, post any of the pictures of the boys, she has shared my boys, my loves, my darlings. So not perfect. We've had situations. I beat them because they came out of children's church and they fought in church. And my house is too far. So there's a legend in my house about this story about how I took them to my office because my office was around the corner. I just told Gift to cut cane. And she finished cutting the cane. I filed them upstairs to my office on a Sunday when there's nobody there. Opened the door, entered, and I flogged them. As I'm flogging you, I'll say, repeat after me. I will never go to church and fight again. I can never go to church and fight. Repeat after me. I will never go to church and fight again. I flog. And I flogged very well. But one day I was flogging and one person came and held the cane. Nobody told me. I stopped flogging. Like, mommy, leave my brother alone. It's okay. You have beaten him enough. That was the meaning of that holding the cane. So after that, I left it. People, they start flogging me. Maybe there was that fear. So did we fight over cleanliness, taking your bath properly, washing between your toes? When you walked here, I did not like the smell. You went to play football. We did all those things. To now think that they are now the ones snubbing people for being dirty. Wow. Yes. Don't worry. So that one that now told me that, mommy, don't worry. I said, you have done such a fantastic job. Just put in the work. The talking, don't stop it. When I'm in my bed and I'm tired, I can hear them watching Cartoon Network because I was one of those mothers. That Cartoon Network, I did not do it. So when I hear them watching something that I feel that is going to be bad for them, and I am so tired, I'll tell myself, see, babes, if you don't get up, you are going to suffer tomorrow. So immediately I tell myself that, I jump out of bed and rush to the television. What did I say? You have to be repeating after me. Mommy said that. My PA was a bit horrible. So she was climbed on the scale, and said, I'm so fat. One of them now said, didn't you know? So when he said, didn't you know, I heard. I came. I was so tired. I said, what did you say? I was so tired. But I told myself, if you don't deal with this thing, tomorrow you will face it. So I said, stick out your mouth. Pam. Why am I smacking your mouth? I shouldn't say unkind things. Correct. Bring out your mouth. Snap. What did I say? Why shouldn't I? I repeated over and over again. My boys are some of the kindest human beings. Today. It cost me something to do it, but I did it. And that talking, I didn't stop. And I'm grateful for what's the impact I'm seeing. They are still not speaking in tongues enough. They are still not quoting scriptures as much as I want. I still put them in my prayer book today. God, I want my children to be... When I ask you, yes, now, I was spirit like that. Now I want them to be spirit cocoa. No one want to be telling me, when I ask what music did you play today, you cannot just tell me a new song. You can just, you went to, which church did you go today? I was online. No. I want you to go to fellowship. I want you to be a worker. I want you to be... He said, I was in House on Rock. You're not in House on Rock. House on Rock is in Nigeria. I don't want to hear you in House on Rock. Go, which church is around the corner from your... Mom, don't worry, we'll go next week. So, it's not yet perfect. You understand? No, I don't want to fly. I just go to church, come back, then tell me you went for missions work. Tell me you laid hands on the sick, that they were recovered. Tell me you prayed in the spirit for 2 hours. Tell me that, I want... Yes, people are saying good things. So they now said, well, if that's what you want, you prefer that we are actually decent human beings. I said, all of them, add it. Come in, they're decent human being and still be working in the miraculous, please.
Okay, so 2 questions asked. think deep into your hearts. You're seated with the one and only Auntie T. So put your questions together. Okay, please.
I wanted to add something to.
Introduce yourself.
My name is Debola Toye. I'm an educationist and a friend of the house and a friend to the Fela-Durotoyes as well. I just wanted to add something to the answer that you gave her. And you said, keep talking.
Yes.
It is good to keep talking to them, but also talk to God about them. Very, very important. Very, very important. Don't stop talking to God about them. And I'm saying this because over and above talking to them, talking to God about them actually works. I did a lot of that. And at the end of the day, it so happened that...
Until your children are in their 30s, right?
Yes.
Yes. 30s, they're in their 30s.
It so happened that when they were in school, every time, and they were in boarding school out of the country, every time they wanted to get into trouble, and every time they wanted to be involved in anything that was not good, you know how students would be. Oh, let's go out and drink. Oh, let's go out and have fun. You know, they would say to me later on in life that, let's tell you what happened to us. Every time we wanted to do those things, we would hear your voice. And they would say things like, you're a very dangerous woman. We would keep hearing your voice. Somehow telling us, don't do it. Remember the son of who you are. Remember the daughter of who you are. I said that so much so that, you know, every time they were going back to school, I'll say, kneel down, we'll pray. We would always kneel down and pray. And then I would round it up by, remember the son of who you are. One day I was traveling and they were at home. And we held hands and we prayed before I was ready to go. And my daughter said, remember the mother of who you are.
Because we're going to have a brand now.
Exactly. So talk to God about them
as much as you talk
rest assured that God will take care of them. When I was agitating, like you know, every parent does that. Have I done enough? Have they learned? Will they turn out well? They actually, my husband was still talking about this yesterday at a men's meeting. He said, our children wrote him a letter and they said, trust that you've done a good work. You've taught us and we have learned. And so don't be worried. We have already turned out well. Just rest.
Thank you, Auntie, for sharing. Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Thank
you so much.
Okay. Please introduce yourself and shoot.
Okay, thank you. My name is Dr. Larry Kuforiji. My question, two questions in one.
It's okay. Yeah, the only man that has asked a question. So you can ask 5 questions if you want.
Oh, beautiful. Just 2 questions. So I really like you talk about legacy in terms of your children because I believe that's a critical part of legacy. So, but 2 questions. How did you navigate the question of their use of technology when growing up? What age did you feel comfortable for them to use technology? And did it impact anything in terms of the kind of, upbringing you wanted to give them? And then secondly, I mean, I don't know. I also follow your husband very keenly. Did you have a different disciplining style from him? And did that in any way, was there friction or were you able to manage?
Thank you.
Because I think I struggle a bit with that with my spouse.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that question. So the last one is one I will answer first. We definitely have 2 different styles. It's actually, so my husband and I don't really quarrel. We don't usually have issues. But the one area we have issues is about our children. That's the area. My husband comes from a more, when he was their age, remember they're boys, I have 3 boys. So when he looks at his children today, he sees people he sees like almost near perfect children. Because he's looking at them from his own lens of how he was when he was their age. The drinking, the clubbing, the womanizing, the driving fast, the reckless living. So he's now saying, these my children, they are perfect. They came from heaven. My God, these children, he's like the way he adores them is like, wow. Like I can't even believe that these are, what did I do to God that I even have this kind of children, right? But in my own case, I'm like, I was on Sanusi Fawa evangelizing to prostitutes. My children are here watching television. The world is coming to an end. How many people's lives have they converted? Go on Facebook, let them type my name. You see people that will say, it was Tara Fela-Durotoye that made me know Jesus. And he's looking at me and saying, like, if you know what God did for you. So you can imagine that. There are times where I'm going on and on and on, and he would just say to me, he doesn't speak Yoruba, because obviously I'm not Yoruba, so he doesn't speak Yoruba to me. But there are moments where he's so overwhelmed, he just starts speaking Yoruba. One day he just said to me, that thing. Because it's like, you want to wound yourself over these people. There's nothing wrong with them. I call my son. When you call him, he will put the phone on facing the ceiling. So you can't see his face. So you'll be like, can you please carry the phone and let us see your face? Mommy, I'm coming. Do you know why? He has started plaiting his hair. So he didn't want me to see. So he was wearing hood. You wear hood today. In the morning, you wear hood. In the afternoon, evening, you're wearing hood. And it was that time that, what's his name, just came. Trump came. So we didn't have visa. Like, you know, there was a period where we couldn't get visas and all that. I now said to the father, this boy is covering his head. Why is he covering? I had no idea that was what the problem was. Why is he covering? The father is saying, why are you worrying yourself about covering up? Like, what kind of person are you? If your child covers his hair, it's fashion. You could see him, like, it's almost like it's aspirated. So, no problem. He had also pierced his ear. He had earring. I didn't know. One day I just said, who has visa? My PA had visa. I just entered plane. Fela-Durotoye, bring money. Buy ticket for this girl. Let her go to America for me. Because you see that my picking. I want somebody that knows me to see him. So that kind of thing of, you will not kill me, you this woman. Let me just give. So the girl went to America. Maybe the boy saw her. She saw him. This one started crying. She looked at him like, don't you know who you are? The look on her face, the boy understood what she was. She didn't have to say anything. He was crying, she was crying. She said, hey, that's why the mother sent me. His body was white. He had stopped creaming his body. He was clearly struggling. Ashy. His body was ashy. You've seen Fela-Durotoye now? Now, if you see this kind of person, then you now see this person. You're now wondering, is it this person that gave birth to this person? So she sent me a message. I'm going to tell you something. You cannot do anything. You cannot. I said, no problem. It's secret. Remove it. Just remove it. Remove it. So he took it out. He does not know till tomorrow, except this thing is being shown online because my children can find me anywhere in the world. He doesn't know till today that I knew that he had pierced ears. So I just told the father, spring break, you should come home. Can you come? Any 1 week holiday, you should come to Nigeria. I went to the airport the first time. Well, my son is back t-shirts. To welcome him from the airport, put him inside the car. He saw how miserable I was because you will call him, he will not pick up. You will call, and they had warned me before. They said, all my older aunties had told me, don't allow your children to go to America. You see that in England, when they are there, you can enter plane today, see them in the morning, I did not answer. I told them that, no, my own children, never. My children can never. My own children, we are so close. When I call them, they will pick up. They will come. He was not picking up. So the boy now came home. When he came home, the boy now said, oh, Dad, I'm in America. You guys have not really allowed me to acclimatize. He said, acclimate. Don't let your mother hear that word from you. The reason why you are coming home every time is because we don't want you to acclimatize. You don't understand. So when he came, he saw how miserable I was. He said, Mom, what are you doing today? I said, I have some meeting. He said, anywhere you are going, I'll follow you. Because clearly, you are so sad. I was. So Fela will say to himself, leave them. The children are good children. Just talk to them. Just my own, no. I give speeches. I cry. I manipulate. I use every tactic under the sun. I use memes. I use videos. If you don't watch my video, I will call you. That video I sent you last week. I use Bible, Holy Ghost, Father, Jesus, Old Testament, New Testament, all. Fela-Durotoye thinks his children are wonderful children. They fell from heaven. And it's like, this woman is stressing this my children for me. So we are different. That's the only area that if you ask us where we have issues, this. What was the first question? Okay, technology came when, because they are 9, they are 20s. So, but amongst the three of them, there is one that is more addicted to technology than the other two, and is the first. And the reason why is because I didn't know when it first came out. I didn't know how to manage it until today. I still struggle with it. When he's around, you have to tell him, please, we're having breakfast in this as we are family. Don't be inside your computer talking to your people there. Come here, join the Fela-Durotoyes that are present in human form. Join us. He's the first to stand up from the table when we eat because he cannot wait to go to his gadgets. So, and it's because he was the only one I didn't know how to structure because we're coming to, by the third, my last born, he reads, he has books. Every conversation he tells you, reference to psychologist, he has all this, Carl Jung, he read this book on this. He's the only one that's finished reading this, my book. The others are still referencing chapter 2. Every conversation is still, you are still at chapter 2 since. Yeah. I hope that was helpful. Is there another man?
Is that another man?
We want men to ask questions, I think. All right, it's okay.
Okay. Because there's one here.
Fortunately, I'm not a man.
I know. It's okay.
It's fine.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
My name is Tomi Odunsi. While many may know me as from the entertainment industry as an actor, singer, and songwriter.
I know you from the entertainment industry. I was thinking that name rings a bell.
Yes. Today, I spend more time building at the intersection of creativity, the creative industry, healthcare, and technology, and also communities that drive meaningful impact. I know I'm kind of nervous, but bear with me. Thank you for the insightful talk, particularly around when women experience a dent in relationship, they kind of withdraw. And but I'm glad I'm here. My friend to drag me out of the house to come here, so I'm really glad to experience this session with you. But I have a question.
Thank you.
Building beyond you, legacy or heritage brands. What kind of structure do you put in place from day one? Because I'm yet to see or read about any Nigerian business that have made it 100 years, like many heritage brands across the world.
Yes.
Most successful businesses die when the owners die after a few years. I feel like there's also a pressure on our children to become the succession plan, which most times don't work.
Correct.
Some businesses like Olaya and all those, indigenous businesses that are supposed to have kind of, we haven't seen that.
Yes.
So what are we going to change moving forward now?
Yes.
That will change the entire game.
Thank you very, very much, Tomi. I think the first, please give her a round of applause. Great question. And thank you for helping us going back to my book so that people who haven't bought it will end up buying it today. Right. So I think the first question is, what are the things that we should do today if we start our businesses to put structure in place? I think first of all is to start with a mindset, a vision that is long-term. A vision that is long-term. Many times we start businesses and our businesses are like lifestyle businesses where it's like, oh, how can I make sure that I can pay my rent? I can buy a car. I can just to meet all these needs. But when you build your business with that mindset, how the culture is different as to when you are thinking for the long term. So for example, if a decision you want to take today and you're thinking, I want this business to be here in 100 years, you may go right just simply because you're thinking 100 years. But if you're thinking quick money, money to be able to meet my needs, you may go right. So the first thing for me is I want you or anyone who's here to say, I want to build this for the long term. I was that person. I was certain that I wanted House of Tara to outlive me and be here after I have gone. So that's one. First of all, it's about the mindset, it's about the vision. The second thing is about designing the business in a way that today, the reason why you are making some money is because there's a kind of success. That success is a product, is an outcome. Identify what that outcome is. So it can be, for example, you have a school, and it's because you are now having all the classes are full, okay? So you have 100 students, that's success to you, okay? Or you have a cosmetics business, and people now know your brand. It's now recognizable. You walk into a place and you ask, is anybody here that has used my product? And 5 people, 10 people pick up. So that's a success. That success that you see, can you articulate it, number one? But then ask yourself, what are the steps that I took to get here? So the outcome is this, but what were the steps that I took? Why? Because I want you to be able to replicate those steps over and over. So it's no longer a fluke. It's not by chance. It is consistent. So there is an outcome, and there is a process that leads to the outcome. I delivered a blockbusting movie. The movie was successful because it had X number of this, X number of whatever those outcomes are, metrics are, identify. But this is what I did that made it so. My book was an Amazon bestseller 1 week after it was launched. It was a goal for me. I wanted to be able to say my book is an Amazon bestseller. It was such an important goal for me that I talked about it over and over again that everyone within my circle knew. That was an outcome. When it happened, I wrote how it happened because this was the A, B, C, D steps that I took to deliver that outcome. The reason why is because we want to be able to replicate it. Do you know the reason why many of us cannot cook our mother's stew to taste and to smell exactly like our mother's stew? Do you know why? There are no recipes. Because when they were teaching you, they just said to you, if you taste it, you will know when it is done. Whereas Auntie Jemima's pancake came from the US, now in Nigeria. The syrup recipe is consistent. Every time you open it, it is the same. That's why you go buying the same thing, because you know that the taste will be the same. That's the outcome. But to get there, there was this water, there was this sugar, there was this, that, there was this fructose. All these things together were what delivered the product. So what am I saying? We must codify our business success. Any part of your business that delivers this. This is how we attend to customers that get them to buy 10,000. This is how we attend to customers that get them to buy 100,000. This is how, and it must be documented. After it must be documented, whoever it is that you are with, you must share your vision. We must all learn how to communicate what we want to see. So I want House of Tara to be a globally respected beauty company of African origin. Everybody that works at House of Tara knows the vision. You are made to memorize it. You are made to recite it over and over again. Why? Because you need people to be able to achieve. I've said a few. The rest is inside the book. Buy it.
I was even going to ask, how many people has Building Beyond You here? Please show me your book. Show me.
You want to get? Yes, I'm here. Okay, great. So we have time. It's already 6 o'clock. So I can sign books for people.
Yes. Okay. So
okay. Can people want to buy books? Yes.
Okay. Please bring the books to the one.
Please, can you bring the books?
Yes. Okay. I think you should go ahead. Go ahead, your question.
Yes.
Okay. Good evening.
Sorry, Auntie wants to ask a question. Okay.
I can't remember when either you or Fela shared it about going to the airport. And who gets to the airport first?
Oh, he always gets to the airport first. I always come late.
So, just to say, share about relationship. How Fela, because it's been children. Now husband and wife.
Okay.
How you're not the same.
Yes.
But he compliments.
Correct.
He understands.
Correct.
And
okay.
has taken you forward here.
Okay.
I remember that story. He says,
yes.
if it's He will get to the airport on time,
Yes.
but Tara will still be.
Yes. I'll be the last to get there. In short, when they're about to close the door of the plane, is when I arrive.
Already out.
Yeah. So Fela is a very hyper organized. He thinks about things in advance, 10 times in advance, even before you start you have the idea has just dropped. He can give you a 10-year plan based on that. I'm more spontaneous, which also means I'm the more exciting one. But that difference, and I find a lot of couples, it becomes friction. It causes friction a lot for a lot of relationships. But I think in our own, we have found way to consider it to be complementary than it is a form of conflict. And I think a lot of couples are too quick to see their spouse as, maybe bad. Oh, my brother is here. I didn't see him all this while, right? So sometimes we, rather than see it as complementary, which is if he's the one who's thinking far, it's okay. And if I'm the one who's spontaneous, it's also okay. I'm spontaneous, so I bring fun, right? And if it was just you, the thing will be boring, okay? But if we leave you, we will never do anything planned. Everything, we are just going to be going up and down, running helter-skelter like headless chickens, okay? But seeing it as, this is what makes you special. This is what makes me special. For both of us, I'm the one that's more relational. He's more approachable, but I'm the more relational. So if you meet both of us, he's probably the one you'll be more attracted to, right? He has a warm smile. He's very entertaining, but he's not likely to call you again. He's not going to call you again. He's likely to give you his number. I'm not likely to give you my number. But when you do get my number, I'm the one that will respond. If you take my husband's phone, you can have like 1 million unanswered messages. You ask him, why do you have all these unanswered messages? He's afraid to open his phone because he has given his number to every person under the sun.
No.
But that's his personality. If my husband enters this place, people will do anything and everything for him, just with that personality. Some other people will look at it and criticize it. Right? Oh, you give too much to people. You are too entertaining. People will take advantage of you. So women become critical. But no, I see it as, I call him my Eiffel Tower, my Statue of Liberty. Because if he comes here now, it's like everybody's like woozing around him as opposed to seeing it negatively, right? It's the same way. It's like, oh, you have too many friends. You can start saying you have too many friends. So you can say, I love this thing about you, how you're able to manage and maintain and cultivate relationships. And so as couples, we have to learn to see the things that make us different and admire each other for it as opposed to criticize each other for it. Yeah. Auntie, was that okay?
Yes,
okay.
It was. Yeah. It was. Honestly, was. Now I wish my partner was here to hear all of this.
You can. It's recorded now.
I'm the spontaneous one. It's like, oh no, we have to plan. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
But there's some ideas that come that we have to.
Yeah, it's good to plan, but it's also good to also be spontaneous because there's value in all of it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So the questions online, because the people.
There's a man that has a question.
This and then another man.
Please give him a round of applause. We like our men to ask questions.
All right. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Sorry, I preached 2 services. My voice.
Oh.
All right.
Thank you.
I want to say thank you for this wonderful thing you're putting together. For me, known you for like over 20 years now.
Oh wow!
I know you, at least when you used to come to our fellowship then in Festac.
Oh wow!
I used to come to VGC to pick you up, all those type of things.
Yes, incredible.
All right, so you've been consistent all this while. Now, your business. How did you? For me, really, I'm the type that I get bored easily. Whatever I'm doing, if I'm not adding something new, and sometimes I find myself going off course. So how did you actually state the course? And you just mentioned now that you are the spontaneous kind.
Yes.
So how did you stay on course, and how did you
Okay, fantastic.
That? Yeah.
So even though I've been in the same business, I started as a bridal makeup artist. Then I jumped from there to becoming a teacher. I started training people who want to become makeup artists. Then from there, I jumped to creating the products that my students will use to go and be doing the makeup. Then that product, I found people who will now start distributing it. So I started recruiting distributors. So distributors now became the people I was training, spending time with, investing in, grooming. So they now expanded and started to sell more products. But as they grow, when they graduate from university, some of them will stop and go and start working in a bank. It meant that the customers who they were servicing still need to be serviced. So I moved from there to creating franchise stores. So physical stores. So if the Tara girl is no longer coming to your bank to come and sell Tara products to you, at least you now know that there is a Tara product store around the corner from you. So if you look at it, I started as a bridal makeup artist. Then from bridal makeup, I moved to teaching. From teaching, I moved to creating a product line. From creating a product line, I moved into developing a distribution channel. Then that distribution channel was door to door. Then after a while, it was physical stores. Now, were there times that I was bored? I could have been bored if I was not evolving. The only thing was that if I live here, I don't leave it to die. So when I stopped being a makeup, because I stopped doing makeup myself personally for maybe 15 years or more, okay? But that's how I started. House of Tara till tomorrow, my makeup was done by a House of Tara makeup artist, for example. House of Tara still has makeup artists who do makeup and is a form of generating money for the business till today. Even though we started 27 years ago of doing that business. Do you see? Then the school still exists because there are centers, because I scaled it beyond myself. So I started as the one teaching people, but then I started to branch out. Every state that a House of Tara makeup school is, it wasn't me who was training in Kano. It wasn't me who was in training. I trained people who now went on to set up, to run those branches and keep those schools running. The schools still run to today. And the reason why they still run is because there are systems in place. I was in one of the stores the other day and I was arguing with the staff that was there. And I was telling them that I was the one that designed the curriculum. And I know that in the curriculum, contouring is da. And I was arguing with them. Because obviously they've come to work in the business long after I have left. So they don't know me, and I didn't teach them. They were trained by people that were trained by people that were trained by me. But I could have that conversation with them because I know what's in the curriculum, because I designed that curriculum. But after designing that curriculum, I developed people who continue to live the values of those businesses. From them, we entered product development. I've left, they're still producing products. So I will say to you, even though you are restless and you move, continue to move, but make sure that what you steward it well enough that even when you're not there. So now, 2 years ago, when House of Tara turned 25, I handed the business over to the first managing director. So I no longer run the business. Do you see? So this same thing I was doing before. I continued living makeup, living school, living franchising, do you see? Now I have handed the entire business to a managing director who runs the business from a day-to-day business. She's done it now for 2 years. I no longer go to House of Tara office. I don't sign salaries. I'm not the one that pays salaries anymore. And that's one of the things I'm so happy about, because to take your responsibility, right? Because I've handed that over to a new managing director. So my challenge to everyone who's here is to say, even though you are restless, evolution is good. You can introduce new things into the business to keep it exciting for you, but make sure that the old one does not die.
There are 2 questions online, though.
Okay. You know, 2 questions online. Okay.
Yeah, but I'll ask one and then we'll give it to you. Yeah, but you can be with the mic for now, though. You can pass the mic on to her. Okay, so one of the questions online, so he's asking, as a young person, how do you balance friendships, especially when you're trying to build a career for yourself and a love life too?
I think that's a very important question to ask. I understand that many times we get engulfed with our work and what have you. But to be honest with you, friendships are one of those things that you have to learn to create time for. I know many times people will say, well, I'm so busy. Be busy with that business or that career. The day that there's a problem and they sack you, whether it's your boss that you're going to come and cry to. Do you see? So, but what do you do? For example, you can commit a time slot, right? You can say to yourself, every week, I must get in touch with maybe this number of my friends. If you have few, not everybody has a lot of friends. If there are 3 friends, you commit to a time that you spend for them. I have a friend who lives in South Africa. She's a senior executive in a multinational and doesn't live in Nigeria. What that means is that we had to commit that every Saturday at 7 o'clock, we must connect. Apart from the chatting during the week or whatever, but at 7 o'clock, I pick up the phone, either she calls or I call. We stay on the phone. We can be there for 1 hour, 2 hours. The first question we ask is, how was the week? How was the week doesn't mean you say it was fine. How was the week actually means on Monday, I went to Latana. I did the Candid Conversations with Tasha. There were X number of people there. Oh, so what happened? Oh, some guys came. Some girls, two guys asked a question. One of them was a pastor who had preached 2 services, right? The other one was a medical doctor. We talk about all those things. Talk about the children. Talk about work. But we have created time. And that is the only way relationships are going to be kept maintained. I don't like this laziness where we say, because I'm building a career, therefore. It's just laziness. This is an important part of your life. Please invest in it as much.
And to add to that, relationships are actually really good. I mean, for someone that doesn't have a lot of friends, coming into 2026, I made it a deliberate action to actually reach out to people. So I do have a broadcast list on my WhatsApp of aunties, I have uncles, I have close pals.
And it's showing.
I have best friends. So, every Sunday, every Monday, I wish a happy new week. I wish a happy new month. I really love to get in touch because, what you said, when work gets really overwhelming, you need your friends.
Correct.
Everybody needs friends. Everybody needs friends. So the second question here is, well done, Tara and Natacha, for the work you sacrifice for humanity. Question, what piece of advice do you have for mothers who are still struggling with parenting teenagers who are in euphoria of discovering themselves?
The teenagers are the ones discovering themselves, right?
Yes.
I think it's patience. Our parenting style must also change when the children, when they get into a new season. So teenage years for me, I think is the time where we spend more time talking and almost coaching as opposed to telling, right? Coaching is almost like when you ask the children what they think about why they want to do what they're doing, as opposed to you telling them, do this, do this, do this. Is to interrogate, to have conversations, to drive their why, as opposed to giving orders. And I feel like when we get to that teenage years as parents, we must also be very prayerful because God is the one that knows the end from the beginning, and He knows each child what their idiosyncrasies are going to be in the future. It's a very sensitive time for us, but I also believe it's a time that we can go through it smoothly and not, project our fears on the children. So I would say teenage years, a year where you spend time listening, seeking to listen, seeking to understand as opposed to tell.
Perfect. Beautiful. Okay. Yeah. Hi, Timmy.
My question, I have 2 questions here. The first one is about talent management. How were you able to retain and manage talent? How did you get the employees to buy into the vision such that over a year ago, you were able to hand over to a CEO and no longer 2 years, okay, no longer owner-managed business, because I would like you to share some of the challenges you had in taking that decision. The second one is, how has mentorship also helped in your journey? How has mentorship helped in your journey in business and life in generally? Then how have you been able to build an ethical and compliant business, particularly in this type of business environment that we have? Thank you.
Do you have the book? I hope you have the book. Okay.
Chapter 6. That's not about that first question. Just chapter 6 is probably the chapter with the highest number of pages. That is it's very detailed. Read it about human resource management. Based on, it's not textbook, it's based on my experience. There are stories of real things that happened to me, from staff downing tools on a particular day to conversations about how I used company money to buy a house and how they called me out on it. There are stories there. So please take that. I don't want us to stay here too long. It's already 6:20. There are Latana staff that I want to go back home. And then, of course, there are some of us who are young moms here as well. So I don't want to spend too much time. Ethical, and I think that's the one. How did I do it? How am I managing it? Chapter 10 will help you talk about my entire transition process and how I prepared myself for it. It's there as well. You can also attend the conference where I will be doing an entire presentation on my transition. My conference is the Building Beyond You conference. Is 25th of September of this year at Eco Hotel.
Please take note.
Yes, take note of that. The last one is about building ethical business. I feel like go back to the conversation about values. Values should not be words on the wall. It should be decisions, should color the decisions that we take. It should color the rewards that we give. It should color the compensations that we give. It should color the reprimanding that we give. It should reflect in everything that we're doing. So, for example, we don't take bribe, right, as a business. It is a no-no for us. They know us in LRS. They know us in FRS. We have suffered because of it. Muslim accountant in House of Tara knows, Christian accountant in House of Tara knows, because it is not just values for words, it's also values that shape the decisions that I took. And a culture is designed, shaped by the founder or the leader of that business. When I say we don't take bribe, I actually mean it. And when there's an opportunity for us to service a bribe, the decision I take at that moment will reiterate what I believe as a value. And values are a set of belief system, what it is that we believe and how we do things. Take it from me, there are people who are running ethical businesses in Nigeria. I know them. And I know that people often say it's not possible. But as long as you believe it's not possible, it's not going to be possible for you. I've done it. I did it for 24 years, 27 years running that, 25 years running that business. The business is 27 years now. If that MD tries it, she knows she will lose her job. It's a no. So those are some of the things. And then there's sometimes also you work with international corporate organizations that place those demands on you, for example. For example, do you recruit people who are below the age that people are supposed to be employed in Nigeria? They check those things. So even if you don't do it as a culture, if you work with some of these international development agencies, they insist on a set of things. And that forces you to be compliant. So if you get the opportunity to work with them, they will shape you up. So the areas that we're gray in, they cleaned it out and they insisted this is what you do, this is how you do it from an ethical standpoint. Thank you very, very much. I'm anyone who wants me to sign books. Latana, I don't know if you guys have the table. You can bring it out here, and then I can help. I'm taking pictures as well, Okay, so I leave it over to you to close.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. Can we give Auntie T another round of applause, please? I mean, she ran us through this book. Honestly, so detailed. So please, if you want your book signed, can you come forward? Do you want to say something? I can sure, absolutely more.
Okay, everyone, thank you so much. Let's put our hands together again for Tara. Wonderful, wonderful session. Pick a book, pick more than one book, sow into people's lives, pick 10 books. We have enough. And please refer more people, but get the signing done today. And if you want to get the signing done maybe for someone else, please buy a book or two or more.
Or more, or 100.
Please, you can buy for your office, for your staff. Just buy and take pictures with her. On July 16th, we'll be having another book review, My Journey by Bimbo Olashowe, the current president of Nigerian British Chamber of Commerce. So we look forward to you coming. With us here, we have partnership today, Vesta Coffee, and we also have Lebara Phones. We are the Lebara team. Lebara is now in Nigeria from the UK. So they will also be there selling their SIM cards. We also have Adire and Ankara and other Latana products. Please connect, network, and the Latana team will be asking some questions as you walk out. Thank you for coming. Take pictures as you hold our book, please. Natasha, let them take pictures as they're holding the book. Okay.
So please, let's take pictures with Auntie T while she signs the books. Okay, so you got it, yeah? You're gonna take a picture. Well, okay. Who's next? Who wants their book signed? I mean, who needs the book signed? Is yours signed yet? Okay, and then please, who wants Auntie T to snap? Do you want her to sign in this? You didn't buy it yet. Hi, who has one? Is this working? Sure. Please, who wants their book signed by Auntie T? Where are you? Okay, let's do some pictures. If you want your book signed by Auntie T, please bring it so you can take pictures as well. Next. Perfect.